It's time for the Potawatomi Fire Coach's Corner, featuring three-time TBL Coach of the Year, Mark Danhoff, with special guest, TBL Playoff MVP, Ricky Artis II. And now, here's the host of the Coach's Corner, Chris Cox.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Coach's Corner here on the Potawatomi Fire Broadcast Network. I'm Chris Cox. I'm joined by Fire head coach Mark Danhoff. And Coach, thanks for taking a few minutes to sit down with me.
Well, I always appreciate being here on Coach's Corner with you every week.
Later on today, we'll be joined by Ricky Artis II. But, Coach, I do want to start with you, as we always do. Another 2-0 weekend has your Fire now 9-0 on the season. Y'all are winners now of 30 straight, dating all the way back to April 4th of last year. I know winning's never easy. You always talk about how hard it is to win, but I'm not going to lie, sometimes y'all make it look really easy.
Well, you got to give the credit to the guys. They really, lock in on our game plans, on our defensive schemes, the things we're trying to attack offensively. And they're the ones that have to play. They have to make the shots, make the passes, get the stops on defense, rebound. And I really think that we're doing exactly that. We're taking the steps needed to get better in all those areas, especially in the areas we've really been focused on in the last 2 weeks.
I think it also speaks to the pride that this team has.
Absolutely.
Because it would be easy to go on the road to Little Rock, play a Sunday afternoon game on Easter, and kind of, for lack of a better term, lay an egg. But, the pride that this team has, they refuse to do that.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They have great pride. They really work well together, and they hold each other accountable. But probably the number one thing is they hate to lose, and they're so competitive. No matter what we do, whether it's practice or even have a fun day in practice where we do a shooting tournament, they want to compete and they want to win, whatever that is. And even if it's a drill that's not really something we keep score at, they turn it into something to make it even more competitive. So I know one thing, every night they're going to compete at the highest level, and we don't know if we're going to win or not, but we're certainly going to compete and try to do just that.
When you look at last weekend's slate of games, you all started on Friday with the Dallas Stampede, and you got a big win, 131-89. And in that game, you all led wire to wire, and you really, it seemed like you dominated the Stampede on both ends of the floor. Yeah,
I thought we had a really good start. Thought we had a lot of intensity, played with some urgency on defense, really got out and got after them a little bit, built an early lead, and we just didn't relax from there. And that was the big thing that we talked about. We wanted to play 48 minutes. We don't want to have lapses. And even though there might have been a moment or two out there that kind of felt like it, I really thought we stayed focused and played a complete game on both ends of the floor. And they're a good team, very talented team. And I expect them to continue to improve and keep moving forward as well. But I was pleased with our performance.
In that game, it was a lot of the same that we've seen from your Fire this season. Scoring was distributed. You all shot the ball really well and really efficiently. Played some good defense. When you were able to go back and watch the game, what did you see?
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I thought we really competed. We really played with a lot of energy and intensity on defense. There was a lot of communication going on, which I think really helps. When you do make a mistake, you can talk your way through it and recover from it. Thought we did a good job there. I thought offensively, we really moved the basketball. We played inside out. We pressured the rim. When we got to the paint and didn't have the shot, we found the open man and really did a nice job of sharing the basketball and not only making the +1 pass, but the right pass.
Yeah. In that game, Chuck Guy, he led your Fire, 23 points, and now that we're about halfway through the season, you look at his numbers, and he's having another fantastic year. He's averaging 17.3 points per game, 10.4 assists per game, and I believe a career high 7.2 rebounds per game. And then on top of that, he's shooting over 50% from the field, right at 40% from three, and 90% from the free throw line. I think at times this season it's felt like a bit of a quieter season for Chuck, but then you look at his numbers and the impact that he has on each game, and he's just doing what we've gotten used to him doing the past 3.5 years now.
Yeah, absolutely. Chuck is having a terrific season once again. I think a lot of that goes to his off-season training and his preparation to get to this point. And then I think that this team is unique for him as well. He can get more rest with some of the depth we have. In addition, like you've mentioned several times, when you have 7 and 8 guys averaging double figures, the ability to just spread the ball out, have confidence in so many guys that they're going to make the right play after he gives it up. But his decision making, his passing, his shooting, everything has just been on a really high level, and we certainly don't want to forget about his defense and rebounding as well.
Switching gears and looking at that game on Little Rock on Easter Sunday, it was a game, like I mentioned, it could have been a tricky one. You all were on the road, playing on a Sunday afternoon, and you know that Little Rock is a team that has the ability to light up the scoreboard, but again, you all got off to a fast start and never really looked back.
Yeah, again, I thought we were focused, had a really good start. I told the guys after the game that, sometimes it doesn't always feel right or doesn't feel as good as it probably is, but we played a really good game against a team that shot the ball really well, had some guys really light it up from deep and make tough shots. And it was those shots that made it feel a little bit different, but we played good defense, and we did a really good job on both ends of the floor. Every time they tried to make a run, we responded, and that comes back to our leadership and our depth, the returners really stepping up, having everybody stay composed, and making sure that when they did hit a big shot, we came right back down and got a great shot and just kind of responded to everything. I was really pleased with how we responded. I was pleased with our focus, and just the way we came out and were intentional about the things we did.
Yeah, Little Rock, they do have the ability to put up a lot of points. They have some really good shooters, and you saw a guy like Ace Cassell make a bunch of tough three-pointers, hands in his face, from 30 feet deep. I mean, when shots like that are going in, what do you tell your guys on the defensive end? Because a lot of those shots that he was making and some of their other guys were making, they were defended pretty well.
Yeah, just don't drop your head. Next play. You know, Cassell's had a really good, a really good season, shooting the ball extremely well from three. And sometimes the offense just wins in that possession. So keep defending, keep playing hard, continue to challenge. The statistics will balance themselves out at the end of the day, but you can't just hang your head or drop your head after someone makes a tough shot. You got to move on to the next play.
Offensively, maybe the one area of concern in that Little Rock game was the free throw shooting. 22 of 39 from the free throw line. I know y'all work on free throws every day after practice, at the end of practice, but as a coach, what can you do during a game to help guys with free throws?
Well, it's very unusual because we typically shoot free throws pretty well. We're in the 70s, anywhere from the high 70s, low 80s to the lower 70s on a bad night.
Right.
In this case, we came out and just short sometimes, a little bit long. For me, I've always said, the more you talk about it, the more they think about it. So let's just get back to who we are. So we mentioned it at halftime, step up, make your free throws. But for whatever reason that day, it wasn't our day at the free throw line. I think it was the biggest difference in the game. I do believe had we made our free throws early in the game, we would have been able to stretch that score, maybe knock them down just a little bit in their confidence. And then we just kind of carried it over into the second half. We got a little bit better, but not to the level that we shoot the ball from the free throw line. And had we at least shot our percentage, I think we certainly would have forced Little Rock to even try to play at an even higher level, because I think the score would have spread a little bit more and would have knocked their confidence down.
Okay. Well, you all are now 9-0 on the year, and like I mentioned, you haven't lost a game in more than a full calendar year. With a team that's as deep and as talented as this team, how do you continue to keep them motivated? Because at times, it feels like at times, I'm sure these guys think that they could just go out there and beat anybody on any night. And they can.
And they may. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about, records. We really don't talk about either way, the opponent or ourselves. We don't really look in the past. We don't look ahead. We try to stay on that one step. In this case, would be Enid in a couple days. We appreciate the things we have done, and we take pride in that. But what we did in the past doesn't help us move forward in the present. And if we look too far ahead, it'll affect our present as well. So we need to stay locked in right where we're at, not pay attention to anything that could happen in the future or what has happened in the past, other than to learn from it, win or lose. So that's kind of how we stay right there. And whether it's practice or a game, we want to play to our standard. all the time. And I think that's the motivation enough. Play to who we are for 48 minutes, do what we do on both ends of the floor, and usually we have a decent outcome.
All right, Coach. Well, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the Fire's games for this weekend against the Enid Outlaws and the CYM Leopards. This is the Coach's Corner here on the Potawatomi Fire Broadcast Network.
Hi, I'm Mackenzie Battershell, and I have relocated and continue serving family medicine clients at the Triad Complete Healthcare in Shawnee. I love what I do, and it's an honor to serve my patients. Please call Triad Complete Healthcare in Shawnee if I may be of service for you.
My name is Kama Watts, and at 36, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. In September of 2022, I was doing my monthly self-check and found a lump in my breast. I had a double mastectomy and was cleared of all cancer by December of 2022. And peek out for your chance at free admission. We hope to see you there.
Big internet companies make a lot of promises, but Vive's fiber-rich network delivers blazing fast multi-gig speeds without the big company runaround or inflated prices. To the big guys, you're just a number. To us, you're a neighbor. Vive Broadband, proud to be your hometown connection.
Welcome back to the Coach's Corner here on the Potawatomi Fire Broadcast Network. I'm Chris Cox. I'm joined by three-time TBL Coach of the Year, Mark Danoff. Coach, 2 more games this weekend, and the way the schedule shapes up, it's actually the back end of one of the busier stretches that you have this season. You'll be playing games 3 and 4 in a matter of just 8 days. You have a veteran team, but what are the challenges with playing that many games in that short amount of time?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is getting rest and getting treatment. You know, I think our veteran players, they know how to take care of their bodies. They know how to make sure that they're eating right, they're hydrating, they're doing the things necessary to get their bodies ready for the next step. But really making sure we don't overdo it in practice, make sure that they're getting enough rest that they need, that their bodies can recover, and just make sure that they're prepared and ready for the next game.
You start this weekend on Thursday night, a home game against the Enid Outlaws. It's the second meeting with Enid this season, but it's been a while since y'all last played the Outlaws. How has this Enid team changed and maybe grown since the last time y'all played them?
Yeah, just watching them on film, they seem very connected. They have this confidence about them, especially the last 2 games. You see them huddling up and dapping each other up and really trying to lean on each other and keep each other motivated and confident throughout the game. So I've noticed that, but they're shooting the ball a lot better. The guys that can shoot it are even raising their percentages. They always play hard. They're going to defend. They're going to be physical. And the stat numbers individually and the stats as a team have gone up. I think their scoring average has gone up 11, 12 points in the last 2 games. They've really played well, shared the ball, shot the ball well, and really defended and rebounded.
Yeah, they have won 2 games in a row now, and you look at, going back about 5 games, they had good chances to win at least a couple more on top of that. Enid seems to have really kind of found their rhythm.
Exactly. And I really think, they've kind of found their lineup.
Okay.
And their rotations for one. And those guys are really stepping up and playing well. And it seems like the guys coming off the bench are embracing their role. And like I said, they just seem very connected right now, playing with a lot of confidence and shooting the ball extremely well.
When you look at, this rivalry, the Fire and the Outlaws, it's really kind of been built up over the past few years. And, with all the player movement that TBL has, you don't get too many of these rivalries. And this seems like it's kind of one of the bigger ones in TBL. How important do you think rivalries are for a league, especially a league like TBL?
Oh, I think it's important, I think it brings a lot of attention when that game is being played that week on TBL. I think teams outside the Central Division and throughout the entire TBL organizations are paying attention, are watching to see what's going to happen, especially when you have 2 very good basketball teams like Enid and us. And we all know Enid's playing at a very high level right now.
Right.
Certainly we're playing to the best of our abilities as well and playing to a high standard. So it's going to be a really good game. But I think anytime you can have 2 good teams meeting head to head, especially when both teams are playing well, it draws a lot of attention, and it's nothing but positive attention to the league.
Following Thursday's game against the Outlaws, you all will host CYM on Saturday night. It's going to be the third time y'all are playing CYM in the matter of like 3 weeks. So I'm guessing you have a pretty good idea of what to expect from CYM.
Well, we've got a pretty good feel. Obviously, there's been a week and they've had some time off. Their roster certainly changed from game 1 to game 2, and I'm sure from game 2 to game 3 there'll be some adjustments as well. But their roster continues to improve and get better, adding very good players. And the more time that those guys are together, the better their chemistry becomes. And the thing about CYM is they're always going to play together. They're always going to share the basketball, and they're always going to play extremely hard.
In those previous 2 meetings with CYM, you all have been able to beat them with relative ease, 51-point win, 40-point victory as well. What's been working for y'all in those first 2 games?
Well, they like to play fast, and so do we.
Right.
So when teams want to play fast, they kind of, I don't want to say they play into our hands, because we can play in a variety of different ways, but our guys like to get out and go as well. So if we can get out and speed them up as much more than they even want to be sped up, it works to our advantage. But if you can get stops where you can get 6-0 and 8-0 and maybe a 10-0 run in there, while the game's going up and down, and continue to get good shots, I think it's an opportunity to really extend your lead and create a gap that puts more pressure on the other team to try to score. But they do a really good job going inside. They do show patience. They take good shots. We just have to defend and execute our schemes. Will give us opportunities to get out and run on them.
You mentioned CYM liking to go inside when they get the opportunity, and Joel Polius, he's really been the only guy who's been able to consistently give you guys some problems. He's averaging 26 points, 13 rebounds against you guys this season. What about his game makes him so difficult to defend?
Well, he's got a very nice touch, and he plays extremely hard. He's going to go to the glass on every shot, whether it's his own or one of his teammates. I think that's the biggest thing, is his ability to just crash the glass so hard. Okay. If you don't get a hand up mid-range and in, he's going to knock it down. I thought that was our issue in the first game. We didn't get our hand up. We didn't necessarily get a body on him, and we fouled him.
Yeah.
So the second game, we limited our fouls and putting him on the free throw line for free points. We executed our defensive schemes much better, especially early on. He did not have a lot of points in the early quarter and a half, because we did lapse and get away from it a little bit, and he was able to score some points. But when we executed the things that we wanted to do against him, we were very successful. So certainly that's going to be a focus on the weekend when we get to that game, of how we're going to play Joel, who's a very, very good player. Yeah. Really like him. He's a wonderful young man. And the key will be just being consistent and putting a body on him every time the shot goes up.
And finally, Coach, what do y'all need to do to keep this undefeated start going and get to 11-0?
We just got to keep playing to our standard and to our expectations, and hold each other accountable when we kind of slip away from that a little bit. Our veterans are very good. We've got wonderful leadership, Chuck and Rick and KD and Isaiah. They're going to, and Hedge especially has been really good this year as well, but they're going to hold everybody accountable, and including themselves, which is the big key, is that they keep themselves accountable, but yet then that allows them to hold everyone else accountable, to keep playing at a high level, be consistent, not have any lapse of play, and try to put 48 minutes together. And if we do those things, even if it's 46 minutes or 44 minutes or whatever, I think we're always in good shape and give ourselves a competitive chance to win the game.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's take another break. When I come back, I'll be joined by Fire forward Ricky Artis II. This is the Coach's Corner here on the Potawatomi Fire Broadcast Network.
Hi, I'm Mackenzie Battershell, and I have relocated and continue serving family medicine clients at the Triad Complete Healthcare in Shawnee. I love what I do, and it's an honor to serve my patients. Please call Triad Complete Healthcare in Shawnee if I may be of service for you.
My name is Kama Watts, and at 36, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. In September of 2022, I was doing my monthly self-check and found a lump in my breast. I had a double mastectomy and was cleared of all cancer by December of 2022. And peek out for your chance at free admission. We hope to see you there.
Big internet companies make a lot of promises, but Vive's fiber-rich network delivers blazing fast multi-gig speeds without the big company runaround or inflated prices. To the big guys, you're just a number. To us, you're a neighbor. Vive Broadband, proud to be your hometown connection.
Welcome back to the Coach's Corner here on the Potawatomi Fire Broadcast Network. I'm Chris Cox. I'm joined by Fire forward Ricky Artist II. And Ricky, thanks for taking a few minutes to sit down with me.
Thank you for having me.
Ricky, one thing that I want to talk a little bit about first with you is you're one of the biggest personalities that TBL has. You're always having fun. You're smiling, laughing, playing to the crowd. How does that help you play your game?
It's just always been a part of who I am. Just having fun on the court. Usually ignites the people around me, gets me energized and going. But usually it's all just been just a part of me of just having fun, but still able to play my heart out and play hard on possessions and try to dominate the game.
Yeah, I think sometimes people see that gregarious personality that you have, see you kind of joking around on the court and doing the things that you do. And sometimes I think maybe some people from the outside don't think you're taking things seriously, but they don't see how hard you work and prepare during practice and before a game. Can you talk a little bit about your preparation for game nights?
Just keep it simple. Be myself. Try to eat healthy, get something to where I'm feeling good in the games. And, as far as the crowd and things, I've always been like that. It's causing a dislike towards my game if you're not on my side of the team. That's what it's for,
Yeah.
It's get under your skin, get under the players, I know some of the players have fans in the stands that love them. I want to get under their skins too, and that's what makes it part of the fun of the game. That's what people really should come to the games for, Sometimes you have the interaction with the players, it makes it worthwhile buying those tickets.
Yeah, I think, that's one thing that TBL really prides itself on. And it's one thing I think that basketball in general is good at is getting fan involvement, because you do have fans right there on the court. It's not like you're going to a football stadium where fans are, 30 yards away. Fans in a basketball gym are right on top of you.
Even at our games, sometimes, even when we're doing warm-ups, I go over there, I sit in the stands until my name is called. It's just little things like that gets the guys and gets people, just excited to come to watch the games.
It's year number 4 for you with the Fire. What makes this organization special? Why do you keep coming back year after year?
From the ownership, David Qualls, coach, down to you and the staff, down to the guys that walk around and help us with the littlest things, From Ray up there, it doesn't matter where it comes from here. It's all family-based, feel loved. And through the hard times, they're able to help me, and I'm able to help them when I'm needed. So it's just a family thing, and being dominant it's a plus.
Yeah. I think one thing that's been interesting for me to watch with your role over the past 4 years is how it's constantly changing. That first year you come into the season late, so you're just trying to kind of fill the gaps where you can. Year 2, you come off the bench, you win TBL 6th Man of the Year award. Year 3, you move into the starting lineup and you end up taking home the TBL Playoff MVP award. And then this year you've been in and out of the starting lineup, and you're kind of, you're not asked to score as much this year. You're asked to play defense, bring energy, and how challenging is it to have your role shift almost every single year?
It's like it's always been like that with me for some reason, because I play multiple positions, but it's just always been just adjustments I had to make to where it's just been a part of my game, especially with Dan Hoff. Since the first time I know him, he reminds me, I tell him this all the time, I said, just don't draw plays for me, put me anywhere. There is sometimes I want to come off screen and rolls, there's sometimes I'm just a player first guy, teammate player first, just whatever it takes. It's just it doesn't even matter anymore. But this year it's been fun. Some people question me and say, do I want to score more? Do I want to do this more? This year has really actually been cool for me to do exactly what I'm doing. When my name is called, I step up.
Yeah.
I try to bring energy in the game, get us started, try to get ignited. I know some of our disadvantages is a slow start, so take advantage of that. loose balls, doing the little extra little things for our team and get us ahead.
I think too, just with the fact that your role has constantly changed, it's got to give you also a lot of confidence knowing that that Coach Danoff trusts you to play a variety of different roles in a variety of positions.
The most important thing about that is Coach Danoff trusts me to not complain, not to care, and just handle and do my job. And I think that's why he loves me and trusts me the most, because he knows it doesn't matter. Hey, Rick, you might be the third man coming off the bench tonight. I know what you're gonna give. Make sure you be who you're supposed to be. You know, he says all the time, you want to be Rick or you want to be Ricky today. You know, he says stuff like that just to keep me going. But I know what he means by that. He wants that energy every game, and he won't settle for nothing less.
You this season joined the Fire about a week into training camp, about halfway through. You were finishing up the season in Saudi Arabia, and I know a lot of times when Americans go overseas, they're asked to be the scorer. They're asked to kind of be the guy, at least offensively. How challenging was it for you coming back from Saudi Arabia, where you were the guy, you were scoring, I think, close to 30 points a game over there, to having to, you know, kind of, in terms of scoring the basketball, take a back seat, but do other things that maybe you weren't asked to do over there?
It's mentally challenging, but that's why luckily I'm with some guys that know me and familiar with my game. So it takes time to take that adjustment, but I like to get that, you know, those feelings out overseas before I pull up or come here to this arena, because I know this is a more team-oriented game. You know, it's more Americans on the court. Usually I'm the only one. So I just try to come in there mentally of like whatever is needed. So sometimes when I take a shot, I have to hit that extra kick, and the teammates are sometimes, you know, they take time with me, but you know, they expect the best out of me. So they wanted to click for me like that, and so I'll get it done.
It seems like about halfway through the season now, things really are starting to click. I think over the past probably 3-4 games, you've really kind of find that stride that we've expected to see.
Get those quick starts in, and we get a little, the third quarter, get a little start in there, and then I see if I need to get back in there. If I'm good, we good. We go ahead, good. I'm done for the day.
You know, we talk a lot about with you, your personality and how much fun you have on the court, but each team also has its own personality. How would you describe the 2026 Potawatomi Fire's personality?
I feel like, man, from the difference between the ones that we had versus this one, man, this one is it's just new. I'll just say it's new.
Okay.
It's a lot of new faces. It's a lot of egos. It's a lot of personalities. You know, I think when I first got here, it was a little bit of adjustment, but you know, some of these guys, even though we played against them, we still communicated through some type of money tournament or something where beyond those measures. So it's really been kind of similar, just new faces. Honestly, you know, they buy in, and we're doing kind of the same things. And, you know, it's still the little arguing in practice that keep us together. But that keeps us together because we feel as we're competing against the best team in practice every time we get on the floor in the TBL. So it's always going to be challenging.
Yeah, it does seem like, though, that this team, at least earlier in the season, kind of really started to click and I guess kind of get along both on the court and off the court.
It's usually always like that because we're in a city like this. You know, we always get guys that are locked in. The gym's always open, so there's nothing else for you to do. We don't have really to go any other place. If the gym's always open, you can get better. So we'll eventually always cross paths, whether we go to our favorite food spots or just go over there and play the game against each other, watch NCAA tournaments. So it's always, no matter who comes in here, it's basically going to always be a family-oriented.
And finally, Ricky, you've won 3 straight championships with the Fire here in TBL. What does this year's team need to do to make it 4 straight?
Be themselves. Be ourselves. Be who you are. We brought you here for doing what you do. Come here and do exactly what you do.
All right, Ricky.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's going to do it for this edition of the Coach's Corner. Don't forget the Fire have 2 games this weekend. First, tomorrow, Thursday night, the Fire will take on the Enid Outlaws, and it is the annual Pink Out game sponsored by SSM Health. Ladies who wear pink to the game will get in for free. Tip-off for that game is at 7 o'clock. And then following Thursday's game, the Fire will then be back here at home on Saturday evening taking on CYM. That game will also tip off at 7 p.m. You can get tickets to both of those games online at PotawatomiFire.com/tickets. tickets or by calling the Fire Lake Arena box office. And of course, as always, make sure to follow the Fire on social media to stay up to date with all the latest news and notes. You can also find more information about the Fire on the team's website. That's going to do it for us today. For Fire head coach Mark Danoff and forward Ricky Artis II, I'm Chris Cox, and I'll talk to you next time right here on the Potawatomi Fire Broadcast Network.